Okay, so the MT12 has now finally been released, and ExpressLRS is in the Surface RC game. There's been a few questions around the latency using ExpressLRS and PWM, so I thought we'd do a quick demonstration. Here I've got the MT12 and a RadioMaster ER4 hooked up to my logic analyzer. Here at the top I have the transmitter hooked up, and I've got it connected to a switch, so I can switch it backwards and forwards. And on the receiver output, I've got the PWM set to 400 Hertz. You can see that on the right. We can see when the switch is low, we have a 1 millisecond period, and when the switch is high, we have a 2 millisecond period. So in this initial capture, we can see the switch has gone from low to high, and after about 4.5 milliseconds, the new PWM cycle has kicked in. So let's take a few more captures here. We can see I've gone from high to low, and after HTX has detected this change, it's been sent over the air, processed by ExpressLRS, and the PWM has been updated. And this time it took about 3.5 milliseconds. We can do a few more of these. So there's one at 3. There's one at, looks like just under 2. And this one's gone a little bit longer. So this period or latency here would be a little bit variable, and this is dependent on when the switch is sampled. So HTX doesn't know when I've changed the switch position. It just knows sample it every 1 kilohertz. So it could sample it take up to 1 millisecond before it samples the switch. It's then sent over the air, and 1000 hertz ExpressLRS takes about 500 microseconds to transport it over the air, and then it needs to be processed. And ExpressLRS can't exactly interrupt an ongoing PWM cycle, so it can update it, but the new PWM won't happen until it's completed its cycle. So the updated PWM cycle may have a little bit of variation here, ranging about 2, 5, 6 milliseconds, or generally one PWM cycle. So we can see here we've got one whole cycle, and then it's been updated. So generally the latency is going to be around 3 or 4 milliseconds. And this is happening all the time for your main 4 channels or surface, so for your throttle and your steering. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the latency that ExpressLRS can achieve. This is going to be variable depending on your RF mode. So here I'm using 1000 hertz. I'm using a PWM cycle of 400 hertz. If you change this down to a PWM cycle of 50 or 60 hertz, your latency is going to be greater. Or if you change your RF mode from 1000 hertz down to 50 hertz, of course, your latency is going to be blown out as well. But this is as fast as we can currently get with ExpressLRS.